The first video was uploaded by a small business owner who runs a convenience store on the edge of town. Every night after closing, he leaves several security cameras recording inside the building. For years, nothing unusual had ever happened. Then one morning, he arrived to find the store in complete disarray. Several products had been knocked from the shelves. A display stand had somehow been pushed several feet across the floor. Most disturbing of all, the store's elderly cat, which usually slept peacefully near the register, was hiding underneath a shelf and refused to come out. The owner initially assumed someone had broken in, but when he checked the security footage, he discovered that nobody had entered the store at around 2:13 a.m. The cat could be seen sleeping near the front counter. Suddenly, it lifted its head and stared toward the back of the store. For several seconds, it remained completely motionless. Then its ears flattened. The cat slowly backed away. A moment later, a display stand located several feet away appeared to move on its own. Not fall. Not wobble. Move. The heavy stand slid across the floor as if someone had shoved it with considerable force. The cat immediately bolted out of frame. The owner reviewed the footage dozens of times but could not explain what he was seeing. There were no signs of an intruder. No evidence of an earthquake. No visible cause at all. Many viewers claimed the footage showed a ghost. Others suggested some kind of structural vibration. But nobody could explain why the cat seemed to sense something before anything happened. The second story comes from a woman named Rachel. Rachel lived alone in a small apartment building that was nearly 50 years old. One evening, she returned home from work and noticed something strange. Her apartment door was unlocked. Certain she had locked it before leaving, she immediately checked inside. Nothing appeared to be missing. Still, the experience left her uneasy. That night, she installed a small camera facing the hallway outside her apartment. For several nights, nothing happened. Then she received a motion alert shortly after 3 a.m. When she opened the footage, she felt her stomach drop. The hallway was empty, yet the camera had detected movement. At first, she assumed it was a malfunction, but then she noticed something. A shadow appeared near the end of the corridor. It seemed darker than the surrounding darkness. Slowly, it moved toward her apartment. The figure never became fully visible. Instead, it remained a distorted silhouette. As it approached her door, the video suddenly glitched. When the image returned, the hallway was empty. The following morning, Rachel discovered fresh scratches around her door handle. Deep scratches. As if someone had repeatedly dragged metal across it. She reported the incident to building management. No explanation was ever found. Several weeks later, another resident claimed they had seen a dark figure standing motionless in the same hallway. The building eventually replaced every security camera on that floor. Yet the reports CONTINUED, a man named Carlos, experienced something disturbing while driving home through a remote mountain road late one night. Heavy fog covered the road. Visibility was poor. The only illumination came from his headlights. Carlos had recently installed a dash camera after hearing stories about strange encounters in the area. He never expected to capture one himself. As he drove through a narrow stretch of forest, something appeared ahead. At first he thought it was a person. The figure stood perfectly still in the middle of the road. Carlos slowed down, but as his vehicle approached, the figure seemed unusually tall. Far taller than any normal person. Its arms hung at unnatural angles. Then, without warning, it stepped into the trees. Carlos immediately stopped the vehicle. He looked into the darkness. Nothing. The figure had vanished. When he later reviewed the footage frame by frame, he noticed something even stranger. For a brief moment, just before the figure disappeared, another shape could be seen standing deeper within the forest. Watching. Completely motionless. Carlos has never returned to that road. The next story comes from an old hotel that was preparing to close permanently. Most of the rooms were empty. Only a handful of guests remained. One night, a security guard conducting his routine patrol heard footsteps on the floor above him. The problem was that nobody was supposed to be there. Assuming someone had entered the restricted area, he went upstairs to investigate. The security cameras followed his movements through the empty hallway. As he approached the far end of the corridor, the footsteps suddenly stopped. The guard searched every room. Nothing. No guests. No trespassers. No explanation. As he turned to leave, one of the cameras captured something behind him. A door slowly opened. The guard never noticed. The room had been locked all evening. The footage showed the door opening by itself before slowly closing again. Management later checked the room. It was completely empty. No hidden entrances. No broken locks. Nothing. The hotel closed 2 weeks later. According to former employees, strange incidents continued until the very last day. Another unsettling video came from a family who installed cameras throughout their home after hearing unexplained noises at night. For months, the cameras recorded nothing unusual. Then one evening, the family left for dinner. The house remained empty. Or so they believed. At approximately 8:47 p.m., movement was detected in the upstairs hallway. The footage revealed a bedroom door opening. No one emerged. The door simply opened and remained that way. Several minutes later, a second door opened, then a third. One by one, nearly every door upstairs slowly swung open. The family returned home shortly afterward. They found every door exactly as it appeared in the footage, wide open. No signs of forced entry. No evidence that anyone had been inside. What frightened them most was what happened near the end of the recording. As the final door opened, a faint shape appeared at the end of the hallway. The figure remained visible for less than a second before disappearing. Many viewers never noticed it until the family highlighted the frame online. Even today, nobody knows what it was. A fisherman living near a large lake experienced something he still refuses to discuss publicly. Late one night, his outdoor camera detected movement near the shoreline. The man assumed it was an animal, but the footage showed something else. A human-shaped figure stood at the water's edge completely still, the figure remained there for nearly 20 minutes. Not moving, not reacting. Just standing. Eventually, it stepped into the water. The fisherman expected it to disappear beneath the surface. Instead, the figure continued moving farther from shore. As though it were walking across the lake itself. When daylight arrived, the fisherman inspected the area. There were no footprints. No signs that anyone had been there. After reviewing the footage, he removed the camera and refused to install another. 1. The final story involves a young couple who had recently moved into a rural farmhouse. Everything seemed normal during their first month. Then they began hearing knocks. Always at night. Always coming from somewhere outside. Whenever they checked, nobody was there. Eventually, they installed cameras around the property. For several nights, nothing happened. Then one camera captured something unsettling. A figure stood near the edge of a field, facing the house. The person remained motionless for nearly an hour. The footage was grainy, making identification impossible. The couple contacted local authorities. Officers searched the area but found nothing. The following night, the figure returned. This time it appeared closer. Again, it stood completely still. Watching. The couple became increasingly frightened. Each night, the figure seemed to move a little nearer. Until finally it appeared only a few feet from the front porch. The camera captured every detail. A tall silhouette. No visible facial features. No visible eyes. Just darkness. Then the recording abruptly ended. The next morning, investigators discovered the camera had been ripped from its mounting bracket and thrown into a nearby field. No fingerprints were recovered. No footprints were found. The couple moved away shortly afterward. The farmhouse remains abandoned to this day, and according to local residents, strange lights can still be seen moving around the property late at night. So after hearing these stories and seeing the footage they left behind, what do you think really happened? Were these merely strange coincidences and camera malfunctions? Or did these people encounter something that cannot be explained?